Clint Eastwood was publicly humiliated by an airline, and his revenge was so quiet, so smart, it left everyone speechless. As soon as Clint stepped onto the plane, the cold stares and dismissive attitudes hit him like a punch. No VIP treatment, no respect, just being treated like another forgotten passenger. Before we go any further, smash that like button and share this, because what Clint did next will shock you. The flight attendants ignored his requests, snubbed him in front of other travelers, and even tried to move him from his seat. But Clint stayed calm, his mind already working on a plan nobody saw coming. While everyone thought he was just sitting quietly, Clint was setting up a quiet revenge that would expose the airline's ugly truth. What if the calmest man in the room is actually the most dangerous? What would you do if you faced such disrespect? Would you fight back openly or outsmart them silently? This story is about pride, power, and a genius move you won't believe. Have you ever faced disrespect and thought, I'll get back at them, but in my own way? The plane had barely reached cruising altitude when Clint's quiet plan sprang into action. Instead of reacting with anger, he pulled out his phone and started recording, not just the way the staff ignored passengers or treated them unfairly, but something deeper. A fellow traveler discreetly whispered to Clint about repeated incidents where the airline had hidden delays and refused refunds, covering up complaints with fake apologies and fake smiles. Clint listened carefully, eyes sharp, as the whispers turned into a story of ongoing neglect and disrespect hidden behind polished uniforms and scripted greetings. He shared snippets live on social media, capturing the frustration and anger of passengers stuck in this silent battle. But here's the twist. This wasn't just a simple protest. Clint's calm, calculated exposure caught the airline's attention instantly, forcing their headquarters to scramble damage control. Meanwhile, a mysterious figure appeared beside Clint, someone from the airline's management, trying to negotiate quietly. Clint refused to back down, knowing the power of truth in his hands. What if one man's quiet courage could spark a movement against corporate disrespect? Would you have the patience and wisdom to fight smart instead of loud? The next move would decide everything, and the story was far from over. Just as Clint was about to wrap up his live stream, the tension inside the cabin thickened. The mysterious manager who approached wasn't just there to talk. They tried to bribe Clint with a free upgrade and a private lounge invitation, hoping to silence him quietly. But Clint's eyes narrowed. He wasn't interested in favors or empty promises. Instead, he asked pointed questions about the airline's hidden policies, why they repeatedly ignored passengers' complaints, why safety concerns were often brushed under the rug, and why the company's social media accounts deleted negative feedback faster than anyone could read it. The manager faltered, unable to give straight answers. Behind Clint, other passengers started noticing his confrontation and quietly gathered around, their phones out, filming and streaming. The atmosphere shifted. What had been a simple flight became a live courtroom of public opinion. Then came the biggest twist. Clint revealed he had contacted a major consumer rights group before boarding, and they were ready to launch a full investigation based on his evidence. The airline was trapped in the spotlight, their reputation hanging by a thread. Clint's calm defiance sparked a wave of support online, with thousands demanding change. What if one quiet stand could ignite a revolution against corporate arrogance? What if respect isn't given, it's earned through courage? Have you ever wished you could expose injustice but didn't know how? Clint just showed us all how it's done. But the story isn't over. What happens next will shock you even more. As the plane began its descent, the atmosphere was electric with tension. Clint sat back, eyes steady but mind racing. News of his quiet but powerful stand was already spreading like wildfire across social media, drawing the attention of not just angry passengers, but consumer advocates and journalists. Suddenly, the captain's voice came over the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, due to unforeseen circumstances, we are making an unscheduled stop." Whispers erupted. Was it related to Clint's confrontation? As the plane landed at a smaller, unplanned airport, Clint noticed a team of reporters waiting at the gate. The airline's executives, clearly rattled, had arranged a press conference to address the scandal Clint had exposed. But Clint wasn't just a passenger anymore. He had become the face of a movement demanding accountability. In front of cameras and microphones, Clint delivered a quiet but powerful message about respect, fairness, and standing up against abuse of power. His words struck a chord far beyond the cabin walls, inspiring thousands to question how they allow themselves to be treated. But here's the twist. Just as Clint thought the battle was over, he received a mysterious message, warning him that some powerful people wanted this story buried and that his fight was far from done. What would you do if speaking the truth put you in the crosshairs? Would you back down or stand taller? Clint's story is a reminder that sometimes the quietest rebellion makes the loudest noise. Have you ever had to choose between silence and courage? As Clint stepped off the plane, flashes from cameras surrounded him. But behind the public applause, the real battle was just beginning. Powerful forces within the airline and their hidden allies were already plotting to discredit him, painting Clint as a troublemaker trying to ruin innocent jobs. But Clint remained unfazed. He knew the truth was on his side, and so were thousands of passengers whose stories were now surfacing thanks to his bravery. Quietly, Clint met with consumer rights lawyers and whistleblowers who handed him documents revealing decades of misconduct, cover-ups, and lies. The stakes were higher than ever. This wasn't just about one flight anymore. It was a fight to change an entire industry's culture of disrespect and silence. Then, the final twist. Just when Clint thought he had allies everywhere, someone he trusted leaked his plans to the airline's legal team, threatening to derail everything. Betrayal stung hard, but Clint's resolve burned brighter. Would you risk your reputation and safety to expose the truth? Would you stand firm when even friends turn away? Clint's quiet revenge had turned into a public crusade, proving that sometimes the greatest power lies in staying calm, collecting evidence, and striking at the right moment. What's your take? Can one person really change a corrupt system? The fight isn't over, but Clint's example is a beacon for anyone ready to stand up. In the weeks that followed, Clint's quiet rebellion sparked a wildfire of change. Media outlets picked up the story, airlines faced intense scrutiny, and passengers everywhere began demanding respect and transparency. Clint stayed humble, rarely speaking publicly, but his actions inspired countless others to stand up against injustice in their own lives. The airline was forced to overhaul its policies, apologize publicly, and compensate those wronged. Clint's silent revenge wasn't just about one flight. It was a powerful reminder that courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, but echoes forever. So, what about you? When faced with disrespect or injustice, will you stay silent or find your own quiet way to fight back? Because sometimes, the most genius revenge is the one no one sees coming. The story ends here, but the legacy of courage lives on.